I hope I don't get cut in the face with that. But welcome back. So I've got 10 tips for you from weeks 3 and 4 of marathon training. I really feel like I'm training for a marathon now. I'm in it, I'm committed, I trust the process and that I'm going to get through this. So there's going to be some more themes to this one. First, high school, did not learn a lot of technical skills. 2, choose your training route with intention. 3, build your life into your running routine and vice versa. 4, optimize your gear. 5, sport specific gear isn't always best. 6, learn from other people's gear. Lots of gear stuff. 7, plan for delayed fatigue. 8, running in snow is its own skill set. 9, stretch twice a day. And 10, drink water while you stretch. We're going to start with number 1, which makes sense because that is how numbers work. I didn't learn a lot of technical skills in high school. So, what do I mean by this? Basically, I went to a D3 school and then a D1 school, and I ran track and cross country at D3 and then cross country at D1. So, we would do best practices like cross training, weightlifting, dynamic warm ups and stretches, but we never really talked about the logic behind why. And so I found myself letting some of those habits go because I did not understand the purpose of them. And for me, at least when I was younger, that's something that I wanted and that I needed. And I hope I don't get cut in the face with that. But that's something that I wanted and needed to understand why I was doing what I was doing. And so now I find myself reaching for resources like this, which is called Fixing Your Feet. Obviously, this is slightly different from what I'm talking about in terms of technical detail, but it's just an example of how much nuanced information you can get into if you choose to when you start going down this series of rabbit holes of valuing the different types of information that are out there. You can take anything seriously when it comes to running, pretty much. Number 2, build your life and your running routine into one another. So what does this mean? For example, I don't like getting the mail. I get the mail after my run. I might take the trash out before a run, right? So I'm just doing all of this outside chore stuff in one discrete chunk so that it feels like everything is woven together seamlessly. If you're a person that struggles with time management or just doesn't like this feeling of trying to make everything fit or like some new piece of training fit, for me, this is just like the smallest little thing that you can do to make your experience more positive. 3, optimize your gear. I feel like this is super obvious to a lot of people, not to me. Why? Because I like to save money. And I like to come up with unique solutions and be creative with what I already have. So, something that's been interesting to me to pay more attention to is the different weight, for example, of merino wool. So, you may not be able to see it, but this one is a little bit lighter and this one is a little bit heavier. I do try to get different colors. That's a bonus tip so that like maybe this is 30-degree day and this is a 10-degree day if we're in Fahrenheit. I wore both of these on snowy days thinking that they would actually be too cold. The sleeves were drenched in sweat by the end. So, pay attention to the weight, pay attention to the temperature data that comes with the tag if you're able to purchase new and you have that information. Another thing to think about is, when you get different types of gear. So I usually use kind of really fitted Under Armour. And then when I move to merino wool, it's got a much looser fit. In some cases, this is nice because it releases a lot of moisture. But in other cases, it's tricky because you're not necessarily as warm because the fabric has moved away from your skin. I think this is a case-by-case basis, but just pay attention to it. If you switch up your base layer, you might need to switch up some other things. The next thing that I want to say is, interestingly, compared to the last one, sports-specific gear is not always best. So I'm going to show you these glasses I got because they basically are photochromic, meaning that they change color based on the light. So I think of these basically as like triathlon glasses. I wear them when I'm cycling and I wear them when I'm running. However, they don't release moisture quite as well as these. These are blue light blockers that I got on Amazon to use while I'm working on my computer. I prefer running in these because they're not quite as flush to the skin. And so if I'm wearing a scarf, these don't collect as much moisture. I'm confused by that. If you understand the physics of that or whatever branch of science can explain it, please tell me, because I don't understand it. I should probably block the blue light. But see, then you see the reflection. It doesn't make any sense. Next, learn from other people's gear. So the really fun thing is you can do this in real time. I ran a couple runs in just straight up blizzards so far this winter. I passed somebody and he's got a hood up on his jacket. Guess what? I had a hood. It didn't even occur to me to put the thing up. So finally I put it up after 2 miles running with just like wet snow pelting my face. And the quality of my run after that was so, so much better. I do similar things too with like if somebody's got a really nice stride or they're dropping their arms in a particular way, I might use that as a cue to remind myself to sort of think about my form. But specifically when it comes to gear, you really might learn a lot. I've seen people in much lighter jackets than the one that I use, so I believe I believe that the jacket is out there that I can run in the rain and in the snow in. The one that I use is from cycling, but even for a cycling jacket, the venting isn't great, so I'm on the lookout for something a little bit more comfortable. Next, plan for delayed fatigue. So on my first long run this season of 9 miles, I felt tired and sore the next hour, but I felt really, really tired the next day. I had plans, I had to cancel them. And then that Monday, I had done the long run on a Saturday. That Monday, I was still kind of feeling it. And this wasn't like that delayed onset muscle soreness exactly. It was just this pure fatigue. And so that really took me by surprise. It's very possible that that has something to do with nutrition and hydration, but I also just think, my body needed rest. So don't be surprised by that. Next one, running in snow is its own skill set. So there's running in snow when it's snowing, and then there's running on snow. I'm going to talk less about running on snow, but for me, the calf soreness that I had, unbelievable. So I did a 9 miler in like a blizzard with snow on the ground, and then I did a 10 miler in a blizzard that got softer as I ran. Very little snow on the ground. The first one almost felt like trail running a little bit. I think it added a minute and a half to each of my mile times. So I did that 10 miler faster than the 9 miler. Great mental toughness training, but really, really difficult. And then because I did that 10 miler faster, I actually think I was sweating more. And so in some ways I was more uncomfortable. So I'm still kind of learning how to run in winter. I've done it many, many times, but I haven't really documented it before. Still haven't started doing that outside of these videos, but I think I need to start keeping like a weather diary. Stretch twice a day. This could mean using something like a foam roller. It could mean using a percussion massager. It could mean something like this guy, which is really great for getting out knots and soreness on the back and shoulders. You could even use that. I've used that on my quads and on my calves. But basically, I'll try to stretch once in the morning and then once again at night. I don't necessarily do my recovery routine right after a run or in preparation for a run. I just find that if I'm feeling a little bit fatigued in the muscles, that doing that routine twice a day for me right now is a lot better than once, and certainly way better than doing it no times at all. Kind of related to that is actually my last tip. So drink water while you stretch. Why is this a big deal? Because the conventional advice says drink water after you do this routine to sort of help your body repair, flush out toxin. I guess it depends on what you believe about what foam rolling is doing. There's lots and lots of different theories. Not going to get into that right now. But I live in a pretty dry climate. And so for me, drinking water after I'm done means that I'm usually already dehydrated because I'm spending about 30 minutes on this routine. And so to me, it just makes the process a lot more comfortable and it makes me more likely to see it through. And I think it's just, I'm getting into these smaller tweaks. The lessons that I'm learning are not maybe as big, but they feel just as impactful because again, I am getting more technical as we go. So I'm just going to keep this one short and sweet today. Some of you might be training for a first marathon or additional marathons and so on. Would love to hear the lessons that you're learning. I do appreciate any feedback that you give the channel. Keep running. It's an amazing thing that we're able to do, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.